I'm a little bit under the weather, man, for real. I think I got the flu, man. I've been drinking on this ginger, honey, and lemon juice. Trying to keep it natural, right? Natural remedy. So, no energy in this video today, but I will definitely get the message across. If you do appreciate the consistency and ambition, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and keep your favorite crypto and door-to-door entrepreneur inside the algorithms. Now, even in the midst of this correction, I want to point out that the stock market is actually exploding. Right now, the stock market is closed, but you can see the close was crazy for like the QQQ. um Let me go to the SPY. Yep, the SPY is looking pretty good. V-shaped recovery. So I think that if the stock market continues to break into price discovery, eventually, especially the techs, they'll take crypto currency with it. So in this video, I want to kind of like give you an idea of what may happen in this cycle based on the model that I did create. But like I said, very, very bullish on the aspect that we will get altcoin season. We will get the last leg. This 4-year cycle will print a very, very, very bullish last leg. And let me know in the comments if you truly believe that that can happen. I know we've been going through so much frustration and so much and forced to have so much patience, especially for our altcoins. But at some point, we will get rewarded, especially once that retail does return back into cryptocurrency, as we are seeing smart money buy up these stocks. So stock market looking good. Usually the cryptocurrency market does fall in line with it. We are getting some catalyst. President Trump says he officially signed the trade deal with China. And then taking a look here, European Union says it's ready to make a trade deal with the US. So all of this can align with the final boss, which would be the ending of QT, right? The restrictive balance sheet of the Fed, or a Fed cut, right? And like I said, everybody is looking at Powell because countries across the world are now cutting rates, and the M2 has exploded, and everybody's trying to figure out, like, is this a personal quarrel between Jay Powell and Donald Trump? Let me know in the comments if you feel the same way I feel about it, because in no way, especially after printing that negative GDP, should Powell be so strict. And he keeps saying tariffs. Well, Trump seems to be closing out these deals and with these countries to kind of like offset that volatility that we do get from the tariffs. So it is good to see that the stock market is starting to perform. Historically, right? Historically, just based on the 4-year cycle analysis, I want to kind of like walk you guys back down memory lane. Cool thing is I created this model. It's live, as you can see. It is kind of like reacting with the price here, but it's been 593 days since the halving. In our model, it says we're only 49% within this cycle, right? The current phase we are in is the rally, and the historical peak average is about 518 days. So the outlier here is a lot of people have said the cycle has been delayed because the halving happened, all-time high happened before the halving, or we got these ETFs, which been really, really keeping that Bitcoin dominance up. But you can't deny, right? You can't deny, based off of each cycle. You can go here to 2012, 2016. You can see Bitcoin price started at 12 bucks. Can you imagine Bitcoin at 12 bucks again? Whew. The cycle peak was about 1100, and this was a 8,000% gain. The cycle bottom, which happened in January 14th, was 200 bucks. So the halving was November 8th, and the crypto bottomed about 3 years into that cycle, which was about 200 bucks. Here we got 2016, 2020. I do apologize for picking my nose on this stream, but my nose is stopped up. The halving price started at about $650. The cycle peak, 525 days in, was 19,000. And the cycle bottom was 3,200 here, right? If we go here to this cycle, the third halving, the price of Bitcoin was 8,500. The cycle peak was 69,000, and the cycle bottom here was about 15,000. And we all remember the cycle bottom, right? Went through Celsius, FTS, Voyager, so many of these grifters and loppers, and Bitcoin went from 69,000 all the way to 15,000. I was part of that. Now, this halving, Bitcoin closed this halving at 64,000, an all-time high, which kind of crazy, right? The current price of, as you see, we're over 100,000, but our model is predicting that Bitcoin can top out at 183.50, somewhere between September 2025 and March 2026. I personally think Bitcoin tops out somewhere between 120k and 150k based on the personal model that I created. But AI obviously thinks that it peaks somewhere between 180 and 350k. So things that we need to be paying attention here is, of course, diminishing returns. Each cycle shows decreasing percentage. This suggests market maturation and increasing base prices, reducing the relative gains. Consistent corrections, right? We always have these 30% corrections, even in a bull run, so that's important to note. And Bitcoin is currently 593 days post-halving, placing it with the historical peak timing window. With only a 67% gain from the halving, significant upside potential remains when you think about the institutions, smart money that's been really buying up Bitcoin. In fact, we've been seeing stocks add Bitcoin to their treasury. They've talked about a crypto reserve. We had the ETF approval and ETF approval on multiple altcoins. We'll get into altcoins, but the ETF approval and institutional adoption and the lenient laws that are seeing, especially with stablecoins, provide additional demand drivers, not present cycles. Literally, every bank is working to develop a stable coin, right? So we are being ushered into the age of digital currencies. I think that's something we all can agree with. Whether you agree we get a altcoin season or not, key indicators do suggest we're in the final rally phase. And I've been saying this is the last leg based on the 4-year cycle. Now, my manual model is a little bit different from this specifically, but we kind of agree on some things, like the post halving peak to pi cycle top indicator, which we haven't even broken yet. We haven't even broken the pi cycle top indicator. So just think about that. I think the MRV is like at one point something. I know it at the peak it's supposed to be like 3.5% or something crazy like that. So many things from a TA perspective and just an analytical perspective shows that we still should have strength going into Q4. And this kind of like, brings the question, right? Altcoin season analysis. Will we have an altcoin season, right? Currently, the Bitcoin dominance is really, really high. We really need that to come down somewhere between 50 and 45%. The ETH Bitcoin ratio is below key levels. We need Ethereum really to break into price discovery. So we see that movement from altcoins. We need Solana to break into price discovery. Right now, we are in Bitcoin season as based on the 90 days of the altcoins, Bitcoin is outperforming them. And you can see as we go on, the Bitcoin dominance just keeps increasing, especially as it gets that institutional adoption. The ETH Bitcoin ratio has been decreasing. Even the SOL Bitcoin ratio has been decreasing. And that's kind of like why you're seeing these corrections with Ethereum kind of stopped out. It seems like Ethereum itself has been stopped out here at about 2,000 for like ages, right? At some point with Bitcoin 107,000, you would think that Ethereum would be 5K, 6K, but Ethereum's in a weak performance. Solana has performed pretty well. It went from $8 to $200-$300 right now is 139. It's a massive correction. So what's happening with the altcoins is that they have been bleeding despite Bitcoin showing strength. And I don't know if that's because retail just isn't here, or the savings are kind of tight where people do have money, but they don't have enough money to per se put in cryptocurrency, because every time they buy a fucking altcoin, it drops down 80%. It's a very, very, very frustrating, annoying, especially for people like myself that's been here showing up 75% of the time, each and every day, expecting this, crypto cycle to be one that, changes lives, right? In some cases, it did change lives. I'm not going to say it didn't change my life, but like, I'm working to break the poverty chain. I need billions, millions, right? And it's just been a very underwhelming cycle, in my personal opinion. Did I make money? Yes. Has there been opportunities? Yes. But the way that I was taught altcoin season and how I was seeing altcoin season the last cycle, nothing alike, right? Nothing alike, right? So, altcoin season probability forecast. There's a 15% chance that altcoin season, based on our model, happens in the next 30 days. So there you go. We may have more chance to buy the crypto dip again. Low probability due to high Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin continues to lead the market, so our AI doesn't see the Bitcoin dominance dropping to 50 to 45% within the next 30 days. Next 60 days, there's actually 35% chance of altcoin season because we can get a Fed cut. We can get a Fed cut. We can get some type of stimulus. We can get the end of QT. Moderate chance of Bitcoin dominance breaks below 58% and the ETH BTC ratio exceeds 0.025. And there's a 55% chance that in the next 90 days, we do get altcoin season. Higher probability as market cycles typical favor altcoins after Bitcoin consolidation. So we truly believe that Bitcoin in Q4 will peak somewhere between 120,000 and 200,000, right? There's a good chance that the stronger of the stronger altcoins, specifically the AI narrative and the RWA narrative, will really print a lot of gains within those tokens that people have conviction in. And you'll probably see some meme coins pop. You're going to see AI agents pop. You're going to see a lot of stuff pop. So as long as you have skin in the game, you got really good tokens, and you don't have too much dilution within your portfolio, you should make some money within this last leg. I actually said this in the J5 Council. I'm really focused on AI, right? I think that AI and RWAs will be like the leader, right? And of course, content creation in the social economy. So I do want to play with memes once ETH and once Bitcoin starts to perform, but I really want to make sure that I have that skin in the game with AI. If you've been following my channel, you've seen that we've kind of pivoted to a lot of stuff that's happening within the Bitcoin, BitTensor ecosystem. So if you want to know how to buy Tau subnets, because I seen that question in the last video, just go watch my video, how to buy Tau subnets. It's very easy. You want to have exposure to some type of ecosystem. It doesn't necessarily have to be BitTensor. I like BitTensor because I am a believer of AI, but you got AVAX out there. You got Solana out there, right? The casino. You got Ethereum out there, right? DeFi. You got a lot of options out there. You could be the judge, but always practice risk management and buy into the tokens and the narratives that have consistently shown strength within these Bitcoin corrections and these mini black swan events that we've been having, because that's what war is, right? War, tension, tariffs. These are like mini black swan events. Pay attention to the tokens that have been showing the most resilience, within these mini black swan events. But that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think. I wouldn't too much sweat this correction because stocks are really doing well. Let's see if the stock market continue to do well when it opens up tomorrow. But I do believe by the weekend we'll probably get green bubbles just because the stock market is showing so much strength. But Powell needs to get it together. Y'all let me know what y'all think. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you in the next one.